Well, ready to go for a restart of our racing around straight into it with our superweight class. One many of you come to watch. It stars at yesterday, today and tomorrow, but yesterday's stars are here with us in the box. We'll go back to that shortly as we check out our update as we head towards Castrol on this opening lap. And I'll tell you what, Sloane Frost, last race, it took him 3 races to wind up before he finally hit the winning way, but great to see as we look back to the rest in our field. And there we go with the charge on at the moment, and looking up there to Scott and then back to Mitch Reeves. Delighted to be joined by Super Father Tony here as the reigning champion, and looking at the new group of riders that we've got in Superbike racing. Tony, happy with where the sport is at the moment?
Oh yeah, like you've said there, the last round there was no geriatrics on the podium, so fantastic to see the sport coming forward, some young guys, and good to see Scotty Moyer right up there at the moment actually, because he needs a few wins under the belt. So he's right there. Look, he's right on top of Sloane Frost at the moment, having to go around the outside at the hairpin. And I'm sure he's going to have a real good go. He needs those wins.
Well, there's your boy Mitchell sitting back there for a very good third place at the moment as he watches a good race going on in front of him. The Suzuki battle out there with Sloane and Scott looking for the charge on now as we head through. Oh, look at that pit of puff of dust comes up on the inside. Probably the cement dust from our incident in the last race there from the 250-300 crash as we go back to our front runners. Sloane from Scott at this stage as we go. Mighty Mitch, look at that. And Mitch pulling out a little bit of a buffer. He's got an advantage over 4th place at this stage, and he's also gaining on the tail of those other 2 boys. And as Tony has pointed out, some pressure coming there from Scott onto the tail of Sloane. You sort of feel the same thing that Sloane did. It just took a little bit of while to get going in the series. Tony, have you found that in other years as well?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like he probably should have been on the money a little bit quicker, because he's done a few laps in Australia over the last 12 months. But hey, the guy knows how to ride, and he knows how to ride around here. He's done plenty of laps here now. Poor old Alistair Hoogie, he's had a bit of a mechanical in the warm-up this morning, so he's on his second bike. So he's probably not going to have the same fight he's had in the past. He's back there a little bit, but yeah, it's looking good for Scotty to have a go, and Sloane's certainly on the money here.
All right, Sloane Frost, courtesy of Suzuki New Zealand, Fujitsu Heat Pumps, TSS, Red Baron, Black Family, along with Derby Capital Partners with Alpine Star and Bell Helmets. It's the Sloane Frost show out there in the stage as we look back to Scott Moyer, keeping him very honest. Scott had an absolute disaster last week after his victory through the Suzuki Series, which was a fantastic victory in a situation that perhaps if you had a look at the field as it was lined up, and maybe he was 3rd or 4th favourite, but he certainly came away with 2 fantastic results from Taupo at the opening round on his home track, and it put him in a prime position. He had another win to come on strong and put in a solid performance, and particularly, of course, to come away with that. Robert Holden to put his name on that for the first time. Back with Spider to assist here now. Timaru Metal Recyclers sponsored a superbike race, and Spider, Scott staying right with Sloane this time.
Oh, Scotty's got it. He won the New Zealand Suzuki Series just before Christmas. Absolute legend. Had race wins at Wanganui in Formula 1, and of course New Zealand Superbike. He did set the lap record at Taupo some years ago, his home track. But Sloane Frost is going to be hard to beat. Last weekend he struggled in the first 2 races. I rang him up during the week, says, what happened during the between the races? What did you do? And he said, my wife Lexi rang me up. She was watching and said, come on Sloane, that's not good enough. And of course Chase and Mitch and their 2 kids, their 2 boys were watching as well. So hello to those people, and it's good to see John Darby from Derby Capital here. Lives in Queenstown, doesn't get to much races, but it's really good to see him come up and watch what Sloane can do, and great financial support and moral support as well. But Scotty Moyer down that back straight there is the fastest lap of 1:04.047 or 1:04.166 for Sloane Frost. Mitch Reeves, his first time ever here at the Timaru. Remember, he started last year, he didn't come to Timaru. He started road racing right on the big boys, a 1:04.318, a 1:04.84. Hayden Fitzgerald, Dan met him on a 1:04.990, a 1:05 for Jay Lawrence. He was happy with his result yesterday, about 6, but certainly. And Jeremy Holmes is moving up the field there. He was asked at last minute to step in for Tony Rees through Honda New Zealand, and he said he hadn't done the training to get fit for the season. So an exceptional ride there from young Jeremy Holmes from Southland there, number 24.
There we go, and now taking an opportunity to watch for the battle to go on here now, and Sloane and Scott and Mitchell in there, and back with Tony. He's of course sitting here, he's watching the race in front, but watching his own son Mitchell at the moment. Tony, has had a performance to be proud of?
Oh, for sure, first year in Timaru, and he's really gelled with this new Honda Superbike, and thanks to Honda for putting us out there actually on these new bikes. And actually, you have to look at Hayden Fitzgerald. Actually, he's got past me here, and he's looking really good. So, there's some really good quality racing going on out there, and yeah, I reckon that Scotty Moyer's got to have a go. He's right there, and he's surely going to push it through at some stage.
Yes, indeed. So there's your trio on board, 2 Suzukis and the Honda Rider Insurance CBR 1000 RRSP1, and certainly a whole new bike at this stage. Do you think that's been an advantage for Mitch, because he hadn't done a lot of riding on the older model, so effectively to hop onto this, he finds it a better bike, and he's become pretty familiar pretty quickly with it, Tony?
Oh yeah, he's done more laps than any of us on it now, so he's pretty familiar with it, and he's been chipping away with the setup. But the bike he rode last year was an 09 model. That was a good starting point. It was a bike that he brought off his brother, and so yeah, we've got some really good base settings from the old bike, because it's not essentially miles different. But hey, we had the things on the dyno the other day. They had more horsepower than the old bike, and the old bike was the super bike, and here we are with the super stock bike, and he's having a go against some pretty seasoned campaigners. These guys, none of them have done a few years racing now, so they certainly got some skills. They know what they're doing.
Right, certainly in the two in front of them. I remember I've got two favourite championships I look back to, and one of them was the fight for third place between Craig Sheriffs and James Smith at Hampton Downs, when they had to go for the finish, and whoever was going to beat the other ended up in third place. The other one was forgotten about in fourth, and of course the finish line was too close to the corner, so they had to hold it on full throttle and literally crash out of the race at the end of it, because Craig in that stage got the advantage over James. And also going back to a championship, and I think it was a Bugden Stroud 1-2, and then we had the fight for third place between those two riders there, and Scotty Moyer, who was in front, and Sloane Frost. But we were at Manfield for the final lap here, and it was Sloane that came through to win the race, and Scotty was demoted to fourth. And as we say with James Smith, you go, well, fourth, who's that? So they really ring a bell. And to see those two in front, that's what prompted the memory cell and talking about them, because they're in front now, and this young kid and Mitch Rees just behind him at the stage. And as we look at that, probably think a fraction that Mitch might have just dropped back a little bit. Is it about consistency and finishing? Do you think he's happy in that third place where he's Tony?
I think the biggest thing, and then a lot of people aren't aware of, is that when you're riding one of these things, you go, what's happening to the old mate out there? Is he getting slow? He's drifting back. But sometimes, you'll get a tyre that just shreds a little quicker than everyone else's or whatever, and I'm not saying a dud, but you don't get the durability out of it. So he could be at the stage of the race where the tyre's starting to slide around a bit more than the guys in front.
All right, Spider's picking it up here at the moment.
That's an unfortunate for one of the Aprilia boys. We've got 4 Aprilias at the tail end of the field. We've got Rob Whittle, Sam Sharp, David Sharp, and Brendan Code. Unfortunately, Brendan Code has parked up, but he's out of the race. He hasn't crashed, but exciting to see these 4 Italian bikes out there. So right now, we've got Sloane Frost, Scotty Boyer, Mitch Rees, Daniel Metum. He's gone ahead of Hayden Fitzgerald on the 52 Yamaha. That Daniel's on the 34 Suzuki. Jay Lawrence in 6th place. We've got Jeremy Holmes goes through there, and Connor London. Great to see him in Superbikes this year on the Kawasaki last minute decision. Alistair Hugenbosen goes through there. He can get better results than this, but unfortunately they've had to go to their B bike with a problem with the A bike. So Alistair Hugenbosen getting pulled. Dylan Telford, number 20, not in the program. Courtesy of Carl Cox Motorsport, he's here. Normally rides in Aprilia. He's done Kawasaki and Aprilia at the New Zealand Superbike Championship. Then we go back to Rob Whittle, Sam Sharp, and David Sharp there.
Great to see as we take our lineup at the moment. This is, of course, our world-class superbike racing right here in New Zealand, with the Suzuki show out in front with Sloane Frost, or Chopper as we know him, ahead of Scotty Moy, and 2 riders of fine pedigree in the off-road world, starting in motocross, the 2 of them back in their mini and junior and senior days, and then taking a bit of a break from the sport because you go and do other things in life, e.g. Family and business requirements, and bingo, then you decide to come back racing, and it's a bit easier to go road racing, and all of a sudden it's a hand and a glove, and they find themselves so firmly footed. We look at Mitch Rees, and Mitch has still got a Honda CRF 450 sitting at home in the garage, so he's just as easy to be on the latest model Honda road bike as he pulls a beautiful wheelie going down the straight in a very good motocross bike. So a bit more of this racing, and the dirt bike might be sold. Tony, is that the idea you have?
Oh no, he owns that CRF 450 2018 model, and he loves that new bike, and so no, definitely he's not about to chuck that in. He does quite a bit of motocross over the winter, and it's a good way to keep fit for this sport. And as you just said, most of the guys here have come from a little bit of that background, and yeah, he did a massive wheelie then. It's never good because You're meant to be going forward, not up. But that's one thing we've been working away with the electronics on this bike. As a road bike, the electronics just spot on. But for a race bike, you've got to work away at that a little bit more. And so basically for wheelie control at the moment, we're using the back brake, so you maybe need to use it a little bit more.
All right, here we go, checking it out at 1-2 at the moment for those guys, all 99 and Connor London. He comes back down here into the pits. He hasn't gone immediately, just parked in the park lane there, so hasn't gone straight back into the pit, so he's just there and looking at something on the bike, so maybe, hard to know, he thinks he can get back out on the racetrack. I'm sure if he thought that it was worse, he would have been off back in the pits. Delighted to have Tony Rees with us here from a racing perspective as we watch son Mitch out there, the 24-year-old, firing his way down towards John Jones, just losing sight of those two in front of him a little bit, but on the other hand, he's still got a good advantage over fourth place, so it's a look in the rear vision mirror and realise, well, hey, you've got the buffer, let's just do the third places. He's only got to do that in all the races. As we know with Scotty, he had 2 DNFs from Ruapuna, so the Taupo man will be well behind on points. So is this going to be good enough to see him in second at the end of the day, Tony?
Oh, yeah, like you just got to keep banging away and do what you can do at the same stage. Medham is catching him at the moment. Hey, Scotty Moore had a really good look around the hairpin then, and I'm sure he's watching the laps countdown going and going to have a go at this. But you've got to give it to Sloan. He's riding a very good race out there. Mitch needs to keep on the pace because definitely Medham has closed up on him, and Hayden Fitzgerald's not that far away.
Looking at the lap times between Sloan Frost and Scotty Moore there, the number 2 and the number 8 machine. This is where they finished the New Zealand Superbike Championships 2017. There were just 2 100s a second before, and then Scotty got faster by about 0.3 the second, but right now in the last lap, a 104.6 and 104.5.
Sorry to cut in there, but Scotty Moore has just pulled off the track. He's got a problem. He's gone straight ahead at the end of the straight. He actually looked like he had a problem long before he got to the end, so yeah, that's put Sloan with a good, healthy lead in the race, and I can't tell you what happened to him then, but he's pulled off the race, and so Mitch in second.
That's unfortunate because he had a crash last weekend, clipped a curb at Ruapuna, and he had a crash. He was okay, actually rode the bike back to the pits outside on the grass, and then the next race they had a problem, I think, with their quick shift of their gear change, so that's a bit of a problem. But does Sloan Frost know that? He usually can hear Scotty Moore when he's really close. Is his pit board going to tell him that Scotty Moore, his main opposition, is out the race? This is pushed Mitch Rees up into second place, and Dan Medham's, mate, that's great for him because he struggled here. He's won Superbike races before at up in the North Island, and for a second season Superbiking, like Mitch Rees, doing oh so well, but qualified quite well. It was hard qualifying, we were about 7th, but right now he's the minor money in the podium and valuable points. Right now as we come into this race, Sloan Frost, 82 points, 69 points from the trees. Dan Medham, 65 points. Alistair Hugenboom, 59. Hayden Fitzgerald on the 52, Yamaha 44, Jay Lawrence, 40 points. That's the top 6.
Yeah, definitely a bit of a shame for Scotty there, another DNF, but hey, Dan Medham's coming on strong. Actually, he wasn't quick at all yesterday in the Saturday race, so definitely found something overnight, just like he did at Ruapuna. He struggled the first day. Maybe he's just taking a little while to get going. I've got to give it to Dan Medham. He's done very well on the Superbike, and last year as well. You know, he's kept the cool head. He never made any mistakes. You know, won some races. You know, he did fantastic for a first year Superbike rider.
Mate, looking at the lap times, 1/100th of a second separating Mitch Rees and Sloan Frost. Knew Mitch had it last year when he came along, and he's got a good background in motocross. I said to Tony, I said, how's he going to do? First season of Superbike. He can ride a 450 dirt bike to the max. He's going to get there. Now, we saw that at the Suzuki Series where he's matched Dad. Dad was leading one of the races at Taupo, and he matched his lap time in second place for exactly the thousandth of a second. So right now, a 104.177 for Mitch Rees. The best time, a 104.166 for Sloan Frost. A 104.535 for Dan Medham. He's probably going to settle into third place there, or is he going to try and reel in Mitchell Rees, Tony?
Well, looking at what he pulled in at the end of the straight, then I'd say Mitch is not getting the same drive as he was, and he's doing too many wheelies down the back straight, but he's definitely closed right in on Mitch. He's right behind him at the hairpin now, so yeah, don't be surprised. I'd say Medham, you know, he knows what he's doing when it comes to racing. He'll have a go, I reckon, at the end of the shoot this time.
The battle for the Aprilias. Rob Whittle leads Sam Sharp. David Sharp just 0.7 of a second, then 0.3. As I say earlier, Brendan Coate on the 35 machine pulled out. Look at this, here comes Dan Medham there, Tony Rees on Mitchell. I know you just love racing. I know you want the boy to get through there into second place, but Dan Medham is threatening him quite hard.
Well, definitely, you watch the end of the shoot this time, you watch Medham, he'll probably get he didn't get quite as good a drive as he did Mitch, but Mitch needs to keep that front wheel down a bit more, and Medham's pulling him in a straight line, which at big time too, so I don't know what's going on there. We need to have a look at that, but I know Mitch has come back at him. Dan got past, Mitch has come back underneath him, so hopefully he keeps it clean. Yep, no, Mitch is still in front, so we're looking for a good battle. We've got, 2 laps to go now?
Yes, indeed. So there's your update. Sloane Frost from Mitch Rees and Daniel Medham, all our focus out in front. Then look out to Hayden Fitzgerald from Jay Lawrence and Jeremy Holmes. Dylan Telford for no experience at all in this championship, thanks to Carl Cox Motorsport. Bang, straight into 7th place there with Alistair Hugenboozem. Blew up his bike earlier today, so on the backup bike and nowhere near the race spec of his true racing bike. So M1 Motorsport will be back to the workshop this week with Rob Whittle, Sam Sharp, David Sharp in there. With, unfortunately now Scott Moy out. Connor London has rejoined the race. He has rejoined it, so that's interesting, but he is well back on laps. But hey, he'll finish in 12th place here, so he's still going to get some reasonable points, so hasn't missed out completely.
Yeah, and you look at Medham and Mitch, Dan were battling away from the hairpin onwards then, and so I think we're going to see Dan have another go down the chute this time, and he's a little, he didn't get the drive, but he's got a little bit more horsepower at the moment. Oh, he's just going, he didn't quite have the pace down the back straight that time, so...
I'll tell you what, Mitch is lucky that he's getting the drive out of that corner, is he? He's pulling an advantage when you come down here, but not the next time, as we look out for the white flag coming up next. White flag should be coming out next time, so crucial. Oh, well, sorry, white flag is out now, So there we go, and... Jay Lawrence into the pits, and he's going back out as well. So that's 3 riders that come to the pits and gone back out. Very unusual, but hey, it's a 15-lap race, and with less than 15 finishes in the field, means you're still going to get valuable points. And as we all know in championship racing, who come down there, that's going to be the 3rd DNF for Scott Moyer now. He's going to really struggle, whatever the problem was here. But here we are, looking to come home. Here we are with Sloane. Sloane Frost, well done. There it is with Sloane. Checkered flag time, and look at that for Mitchell. Holds the second. Yes, a home ahead of Daniel Medham for a good race. Full credit to Dan Medham as we look back at our time. Spider's going to do a little bit of a look for us, and Spider, keep an eye on those times.
Yeah, we're still way off Robbie Button's 103.377 lap record, but that's track conditions and also riding. But the best time, 104.1664 for Sloane Frost, 104.177 for Mitch Rees, 104.535. Now, I'm interested in Sloane Frost. He slowed into the 105.9s. Now, he didn't have the pressure behind him from Scotty Moyer after he DNF'd. So obviously his pit boards, they show a bit of information usually. I can't see exactly what they're showing, but they usually show the lap time, but also how much it is gap to the person behind them. That is probably the most important information to be fed. What do you run in your pit board information, Mr. Rees?
Yeah, definitely. I want